There is a kind of man this world rarely talks about, a man whose strength isn't in his muscles, whose beauty isn't in his face, whose charm isn't in his words, but in his eyes, or more importantly, in the way he controls them. Any man can stare, any man can desire, any man can chase beauty, but a man who lowers his gaze, a man who turns away when temptation calls, a man who guards his sight for the sake of Allah, loves differently, loves deeply, love purely, because his love doesn't start with the eyes. It starts with the heart, a heart that wasn't polluted, a heart that wasn't distracted, a heart that wasn't chasing the world, but waiting for the one Allah wrote for him. This is the man whose love lasts. This is the man whose marriage is peaceful. This is the man whose loyalty is real. Because lowering the gaze doesn't make a man weaker. It makes his love stronger. Before a man loves with his heart, before he loves with his words, before he loves with his actions, he first loves with his eyes, because the eyes are the doorway to the soul. Whatever the eyes chase, the heart begins to desire, and whatever the heart desires, the soul begins to follow. This is why the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ taught that the first gaze is from Allah, but what you choose after that, what you repeat, what you stare at, what you allow yourself to absorb, is what shapes the purity or corruption of your love. A man who uses his eyes freely, a man who looks at every face, every curve, every image, every beauty that walks by, he becomes addicted, not to love, but to stimulation, to comparison, to what the world offers endlessly, but cannot satisfy deeply. His heart becomes restless, his mind becomes scattered, his desire becomes unstable, because whatever the eyes take in, the heart must carry, and a heart that is forced to hold 1,000 images loses the ability to value one soul. But then there is a different kind of man, a rare kind of man, a man Allah honors, a man Allah protects, a man Allah elevates. The man who lowers his gaze, this man fights a battle every day, not against people, but against himself, his impulses, his desires, his ego, his nafs. Lowering the gaze is not easy. It requires strength. It requires self-control. It requires awareness of Allah at a moment when temptation is right in front of you. But when a man chooses to look away, when he says to himself, "For the sake of Allah, not for my eyes," something beautiful happens inside him. His heart becomes clean. His soul becomes calm. His intentions become sincere. His love becomes pure. Because when a man stops feeding his eyes, he stops confusing his heart. He stops comparing beauty. He stops chasing illusion. He starts seeing the world differently. He begins noticing character. He begins valuing modesty. He begins recognizing sincerity. He begins appreciating what is real, not what is temporary. A man who lowers his gaze loves from a deeper place within himself. His love is not born from, "She looks beautiful today." His love is born from, "She is the one Allah placed peace in my heart for. She is the one I respect. She is the one I value. She is the one whose soul speaks to mine." This kind of love is not shallow. It is not fragile. It is not cheap. It is not temporary. It is the kind of love that grows quietly, softly, sacredly, because its foundation is obedience to Allah. When a man lowers his gaze, Allah places nur on his face, barakah in his heart, and purity in his feelings. And the woman who receives the love of such a man doesn't receive attention. She receives protection. She doesn't receive desire. She receives loyalty. She doesn't receive flattery. She receives sincerity. Because a man who guards his eyes guards his heart. And a man who guards his heart loves with everything inside him, not just with what his eyes see, but with what his soul recognizes. A man's heart is one of the most powerful parts of him, but it is also one of the most fragile. It can become attached quickly, hurt easily, influenced silently, without him even realizing. And the doorway that shapes this heart is the gaze. Whatever the eyes see repeatedly, the heart begins to memorize. Whatever the eyes desire, the heart begins to chase. Whatever the eyes admire, the heart begins to crave. This is why Allah commands men to lower their gaze, not to limit them, not to punish them, not to make life difficult, but to protect the heart from seeing what was never meant to belong to it. A man who looks at everything eventually wants everything. He becomes trapped in comparison, trapped in craving, trapped in fantasies that reality can never match. He begins to lose contentment. He begins to lose gratitude. He begins to lose the ability to appreciate the woman Allah wrote for him, because his heart has become overstimulated, overfilled, overexposed. But a man who lowers his gaze saves his heart from drowning in this chaos. He preserves his emotional purity. He preserves his loyalty. He preserves the softness of his soul. He protects his heart from images that create unrealistic standards, from faces that were never meant to be his, from desires that weaken his spirituality, from comparisons that ruin relationships. When a man lowers his gaze, his heart rests. It's no longer chasing shadows, no longer confused between what is real and what is temporary, no longer pulled in 100 directions, no longer exhausted by constant temptation. He becomes centered, grounded, balanced, because now his heart is not filled with the world, it is filled with Allah. Lowering the gaze is emotional protection, espiritual armor, a shield for the heart. It keeps a man's emotions stable, his intentions pure, his future marriage safe, his soul peaceful. A man who lowers his gaze loves differently. Because he has reserved his heart for the woman Allah has written, he has saved his emotions from being scattered. He has protected his purity. He has guarded his soul. This man doesn't give pieces of himself to strangers. He doesn't give his attention to every passing face. He doesn't let images steal space in his heart. He saves that space. He preserves that space. He honors that space for the one woman Allah will bring into his life. And when she arrives, she will receive a man whose heart is untouched, unpolluted, unbroken by desire. She will receive a heart that was guarded for her long before she ever met him, because a man who lowers his gaze does not just protect his eyes, he protects the love story Allah is writing for him. A man is not defined by how he looks, or how much money he has, or how loud his presence is. A man is defined by what he can control, by what he can resist, by what he can say no to, even when every part of him wants to say yes. Lowering the gaze is one of the greatest signs of inner strength, because it requires a battle that no one sees, a struggle that happens quietly, inside the heart, inside the mind, inside the soul. Any man can look, any man can desire, any man can follow temptation. That requires nothing, no discipline, no character, no spiritual awareness. But lowering the gaze, that requires a different kind of man. A man who lives with intention, a man who fears Allah even when no one is watching, a man whose strength is not physical, but spiritual. Lowering the gaze trains something inside a man, something deeper than muscle, something more powerful than ego, something that lasts longer than looks. It builds self-control. Self-control is the foundation of loyalty, the foundation of maturity, the foundation of respect, the foundation of real, meaningful love. A man who cannot control his eyes will not control his heart, and a man who cannot control his heart will not control his decisions. And a man who cannot control his decisions cannot be trusted with a woman's life, heart, or future. But a man who lowers his gaze learns mastery over himself. He learns how to lead his desires. Instead of letting his desires lead him, he becomes disciplined, strong, focused, clear-minded. This discipline flows into every part of his existence. He becomes more patient, more aware, more emotionally stable, more spiritually awake. Because when a man practices restraint with his eyes, he begins practicing restraint in everything. In anger, in speech, in behavior, in decision, in temptations, in relationships. Lowering the gaze becomes the root of a powerful character. It builds a man who can be trusted when no one is watching. A man who is loyal before he even marries. A man who respects women before he even meets his wife. A man who chooses deen over desire and Allah over temptation. This man becomes rare, valuable, noble, respected by angels, protected by Allah, loved by those who know purity. He does not need to prove his masculinity. His behavior proves it. He does not need to talk about his strength. His discipline shows it. Whenever he looks away, he is training himself, purifying himself, sharpening his soul, strengthening his heart. And this strength becomes his emotional foundation. So when he loves a woman, he does not love her because she is the most beautiful. He loves her because he has chosen her with clarity, with discipline, with sincerity. His love is not reaction. His love is intention. His love is not driven by desire. His love is driven by commitment. His love is not shallow. His love is stable. Because only a man who can control himself can love someone else the right way. Lowering the gaze does not make a man less masculine. It makes his masculinity real. It makes his love pure. It makes his character noble. It builds him into the type of man who can love one woman with depth, with loyalty, with honor, until the end of his life. When a man uses his eyes freely, when he looks at every passing face, every body, every shape, every form of beauty, he trains his mind to see women in the wrong way. He stops seeing depth. He stops seeing value. He stops seeing humanity. He stops seeing the soul. He becomes attached to the surface, the temporary, the external, the outward appearance, and slowly, without realizing, his heart becomes shallow, his intentions become unclear, his understanding of love becomes corrupted, because when the eyes wander without limit, they pull the heart into a place where love becomes lust, and affection becomes desire, and women become objects, not creations of Allah, not souls with dignity, not human beings with stories, just images. But a man who lowers his gaze lives in a different world. He sees differently, he feels differently, he perceives differently. Lowering the gaze purifies his vision, not just physically, but spiritually. He sees women the way Allah wants him to see them, not as objects to admire, but as souls created with honor. He sees a woman as someone's daughter, someone's sister, someone who deserves respect, someone who carries pain, someone who carries dreams, someone who fears Allah, someone with a heart full of emotions, not someone to be consumed by his eyes. This man does not stare at beauty. He respects it. He does not chase attention. He protects boundaries. He does not objectify women. He recognizes their worth. A man who lowers his gaze becomes a man who sees beyond the physical. He sees modesty. He sees kindness. He sees then. He sees sincerity. He sees a heart, not a body. This makes his love different from the love of other men, because his love begins where true love should begin, inside the soul. His heart is not distracted by 1,000 images. It is not confused by 1,000 faces. It is not comparing one woman to another. His vision is clean. His emotions are focused. His intentions are pure. And because he sees women correctly, he treats them correctly. He doesn't flirt. He doesn't play. He doesn't deceive. He doesn't manipulate. He doesn't chase attention. He doesn't break hearts. He doesn't harm souls. He carries respect. He carries adab, ikaris aja. He carries taqwa. Lowering the gaze develops in him the kind of dignity that cannot be faked, the kind that comes from the heart, not from appearance, not from reputation, not from fear of judgment, but from fear of Allah and from love for Allah. A man who lowers his gaze honors women, even the ones he will never marry, even the ones he will never meet again, because he does not lower his gaze for people, he lowers it for Allah. And when a man sees women as souls, his love becomes soul deep. He chooses a wife not based on worldly attraction, but on eternal compatibility. He looks for character. He looks for faith. He looks for modesty. He looks for the qualities that last even when beauty fades. This is why his marriage becomes stable. His love becomes safe. His commitment becomes strong, because a man who sees women as souls will love his wife in a way that honors her soul, not just her face. He loves with sincerity, not with lust. He loves with loyalty, not with comparison. He loves with depth, not with distraction. He loves with heart, not with eyes. A man who lowers his gaze is a man who is capable of loving one woman so purely, so deeply, so respectfully, that his love becomes ibadah, his marriage becomes worship, and his loyalty becomes a reflection of his connection with Allah. There is a difference between a man who falls in love because his eyes were impressed, and a man who falls in love because his heart was guided. One love is shallow, the other is sacred. One is temporary, the other is eternal. One fades with time, the other grows with time. And the difference lies in one simple act, lowering the gaze. When a man lowers his gaze, his heart becomes protected from illusions, his emotions become protected from temptation, his intentions become protected from impurity. He is no longer chasing beauty that will disappear. He is no longer admiring faces that are not his to admire. He is no longer feeding his heart desires that have no place in his destiny. He is purifying the soil where his future love will grow, because love grows differently in a pure heart. It grows deeper, it grows softer, it grows wiser. Lowering the gaze removes the noise, the confusion, the comparisons, the endless distractions. His heart stops being pulled in 100 directions. It becomes focused, centered, stable. His heart becomes a place of peace, not chaos. And when the heart is peaceful, it can finally recognize love, not the love that appears today and disappears tomorrow, but the love that Allah places, the kind of love that begins subtly, softly, quietly, without force, without rush, without impurity. A man who lowers his gaze does not fall in love with appearance. He falls in love with meaning, with character, with sincerity, with modesty, with the qualities that Allah blesses, not the ones the world exaggerates. This is why his love is different, because he sees things that other men overlook. Where others see beauty, he sees humility. Where others focus on appearance, he focuses on heart. Where others look for perfection, he looks for peace. A man who lowers his gaze does not love because someone looks right. He loves because someone feels right, because Allah places a calmness in his heart, a recognition in his soul, a connection that is deeper than skin. This love is not built on sparks. It is built on sincerity. It is not built on excitement. It is built on purity. It is not built on desire. It is built on destiny. And this purity is what makes his love last. When a man's gaze is wild, his heart becomes unstable. But when his gaze is disciplined, his heart becomes deep, deep enough to love one woman without comparing her, without tiring of her, without seeking more, without looking outside his marriage, because he knows the one Allah wrote for him is more than enough. Lowering the gaze makes his attention clean, his emotions clean, his intentions clean. And a clean intention creates a love that angels witness, a love that Allah blesses, a love that turns into sukoon, a love that continues even when beauty fades, even when bodies age, even when life becomes heavy, because his heart wasn't built on looks. It was built on faith. It was built on purity. It was built on sincerity. His love becomes something that is not affected by distance, not broken by temptation, not shaken by time, not threatened by comparison, because comparison does not exist in his heart. He never allowed it to enter in the first place. The man who lowers his gaze has a love that lasts, because it grows from a place the world cannot touch. His heart, and a heart that Allah has purified, loves with a purity that no eye-driven love can ever reach. When a man lowers his gaze, he is not just turning his eyes away, he is turning his heart toward Allah. Every time he looks away from what is haram, Allah is polishing something inside him, cleaning something, sharpening something, preparing something. What is he preparing? The man's ability to recognize the woman who is truly written for him, because a man who stares at everything begins to want everything, and a man who wants everything ends up appreciating nothing. His heart becomes confused. He becomes unsure of what he wants, what he needs, what is good for his deen, what is good for his dunya. But a man who lowers his gaze carries a heart that is not overstimulated, a mind that is not clouded, a soul that is not distracted. He carries clarity, clarity that most men never taste, clarity that is a gift from Allah, clarity that comes only through obedience. And when the time comes, when the written woman enters his life, something inside him awakens, not desire, not lust, not excitement, but recognition. A calmness touches his chest, a softness settles in his heart. A sense of "this feels right" appears without explanation, a peace that doesn't make sense logically, but makes perfect sense spiritually. This is a gift given only to a heart that was protected, a heart that was not polluted by endless comparisons, a heart that was not chasing every shape and every face, a heart that did not memorize what was never meant to belong to it. When Allah protects your gaze, He protects your heart. And when He protects your heart, He allows it to recognize what is yours and ignore what isn't. Men who don't guard their gaze often fall for the wrong people, because the heart becomes blind, blind from too much stimulation, blind from too many images, blind from too many comparisons, blind from chasing beauty instead of blessings. But a man who guards his gaze doesn't fall for every passing pretty face. He doesn't get confused between attraction and compatibility. He doesn't mix desire with destiny. He feels something deeper, something quieter, something cleaner. The heart that Allah purified recognizes the soul Allah wrote. He may not know why. He may not know how. He may not even understand the feeling at first. But he knows one thing: she brings me peace. Not temptation, not restlessness, not confusion, just peace. That peace is not romance. It is guidance, a sign, a whisper from Allah. A man who guards his gaze can see a woman's heart through her eyes. He can see her sincerity through her modesty. He can see her value through her character. He can see her beauty through her deen. He sees what others cannot, because his heart is clean. And a clean heart has vision, not eyesight, vision. Vision that comes from Allah. Vision that recognizes the woman his soul was created to walk with. Vision that will protect him from choosing wrong. Vision that will guide him toward choosing right. And when he chooses with certainty, with peace, with maturity, with intention, not because of what his eyes wanted, but because of what his heart understood. A man who guards his gaze receives a special gift, a heart capable of spotting his wife by the calmness she brings, by the purity she carries, by the sincerity she reflects. And that recognition, that spiritual familiarity, that soul-level peace is something no physical attraction in the world can ever match. Because beauty is seen with the eyes, but a wife is recognized with the heart, and only a man who guards his gaze has a heart clean enough to recognize her. Loyalty does not begin after marriage. Loyalty begins long before a man ever meets his wife, long before the nikah, long before the proposal, long before the first conversation. It begins in secret, in silence, in the places no one else can see, in the quiet choices he makes when no one is watching. And the first proof of loyalty, the first sign of a faithful heart, the first test of true sincerity, is the gaze. If a man cannot control his eyes before marriage, he will not magically control them after marriage. If a man stares at every woman today, he will stare at every woman tomorrow. Marriage does not cure undisciplined eyes. Only taqwa does. But a man who lowers his gaze, a man who looks away when temptation passes, a man who closes his eyes when his desire opens, a man who says, "Ya Allah, for your sake I turn away." This man is practicing loyalty before he even knows who his wife will be. This is the kind of man whose heart is already married, married to obedience, married to honor, married to purity, married to self-respect. He is loyal to Allah before he becomes loyal to a woman, and because of this, Allah will make him loyal to the right woman at the right time. Lowering the gaze is not just about protecting the eyes. It is about training the soul. It is about preparing the heart. It is about proving sincerity. This man's loyalty doesn't start when he signs a nikah. It starts the moment he decides to protect his heart from haram, the moment he begins guarding his eyes, the moment he starts respecting women he doesn't even know. He is proving to Allah, "Ya Rab, when you bless me with the woman written for me, I will honor her, I will respect her, I will guard her rights, because I am already guarding myself for her." This is the man whose loyalty is real, because loyalty is not a switch. It is a habit, a discipline, a spiritual commitment. Every time he lowers his gaze, he is strengthening his future marriage. Every time he chooses purity, he is protecting his future wife. Every time he resists temptation, he is planting loyalty within his heart. This man becomes faithful before he even has someone to be faithful to, because faithfulness is not about having a partner, it is about having principles, and a man who lowers his gaze lives by principles, not impulses. This man is dangerous, not to women, but to Shaitan, because Shaitan cannot control a heart that is protected from the eyes. His commitment is deep, his sincerity is strong, his sense of honor is sacred. When he marries, he will not betray, he will not flirt, he will not compare, he will not wander. He will not allow his heart to be shaken by every passing beauty. He has trained himself, disciplined himself, purified himself. His eyes belong to Allah, and his heart belongs to the woman Allah will choose for him. Suchaman loves quietly, loves deeply, loves steadily, loves faithfully, not because he is forced, but because he trained his soul long before the marriage ever existed. This is why a man who lowers his gaze is the safest man to love, the most trustworthy man to marry, the most dignified man to build a life with, because he was loyal long before loyalty was required. A man's desire is powerful. It can build him or break him. It can guide him or mislead him. It can lead him to Jannah or pull him towards sin. And the eyes are what shape that desire. When a man exposes his eyes to everything, to every face, every body, every image, every temptation, his desire becomes wild, uncontrolled, addicted, restless. He starts wanting what is not his, craving what he shouldn't, comparing what he sees. Never satisfied, never peaceful, The more he sees, the less he respects. The more he chases, the less he appreciates. The more he desires, the less he values. But when a man lowers his gaze, when he stops feeding his heart haram images, when he stops allowing his soul to be pulled into temptation, when he turns his eyes away and says, "For the sake of Allah, my desire belongs to purity," everything inside him begins to heal. His heart becomes lighter, his mind becomes cleaner, his thoughts become calmer, his desire becomes purified. He no longer craves every passing beauty. He no longer feels pulled toward every attractive face. He no longer gets trapped in illusions and fantasies. His desire resets. It becomes focused, honest, stable, healthy, pure. A purified desire is powerful because it does not chase lust. It seeks meaning. It seeks peace. It seeks connection. It seeks compatibility. A man who lowers his gaze does not love impulsively. He loves intentionally. He does not fall because of appearance. He falls because of substance. He does not get attached because of excitement. He gets attached because of purity. His desire becomes guided by values, not by urges, by deen, not by the nafs, by sincerity, not by temptation. This makes him capable of loving one woman deeply, without getting distracted, without needing to look elsewhere, without feeling like he is missing out, because his eyes are not constantly hungry, his heart is not constantly unstable, his mind is not constantly comparing. When he loves from a place of contentment, not desire. When he chooses from a place of clarity, not confusion. When he commits from a place of purity, not pressure. Lowering the gaze gives a man emotional purity, spiritual purity, romantic purity. It removes the poison from his desire and replaces it with sincerity. This is why his love becomes different, stronger, cleaner, more beautiful, more stable. He doesn't love a woman because she excites him. He loves her because she brings him peace. He doesn't love her because she is new. He loves her because she is written. He doesn't love her because she is perfect. He loves her because Allah placed barakah in that love. This kind of love is powerful because it is not built on impulses. It is built on discipline. It is not built on superficial attraction. It is built on spiritual attraction. It is not built on temporary excitement. It is built on eternal compatibility. A man whose gaze is purified can finally love the right way, in the right time, with the right heart, because his desire is no longer his master. Allah is. And a man who desires with a heart guided by Allah loves in a way that no worldly attraction can ever match. There is a kind of beauty in a man that no gym can build, no mirror can reflect, no camera can capture, no hairstyle, no outfit, no muscles can compete with. It is a beauty that comes from Allah, a beauty that settles on the face. When a man guards his eyes, this beauty is called Nur. Nur is not light you see with your eyes. It is light you feel with your heart. It is a calmness, a softness, a purity, a dignity, a spiritual glow. And Nur does not come from perfect skin. Nur does not come from being handsome. Nur does not come from looks. Nur comes from obedience, from discipline, from the heart, from Taqwa. A man who lowers his gaze carries this Nur, even if he doesn't realize it, even if he never looks in the mirror to see it. People around him feel it. Women feel safer around him. Men respect him. Children trust him. Angels surround him. There is something different about him, something calming, something noble, something beautifully silent. Because lowering the gaze doesn't just protect the heart, it beautifies the soul. And when the soul is beautiful, it reflects on the face. A man who lowers his gaze speaks differently, walks differently, looks differently, carries himself differently. His eyes are gentle, not hungry. His posture is respectful, not predatory. His presence is safe, not intimidating. He does not stare. He does not scan. He does not make women uncomfortable. He does not make anyone feel objectified. He does not let temptation control his expression, and because of this, Allah honors him with nur. Nur that softens his personality, nur that strengthens his masculinity, nur that makes people feel peace in his company, nur that makes him trustworthy before he speaks a single word. This nur is not temporary. It is not seasonal. It does not fade with age. It grows. It deepens. It matures. And the older he gets, the more beautiful he becomes, because looks fade, but nur increases. Even his wife will feel it. She will say, "My husband's face brings me peace." Not desire, not fear, not confusion, but peace. That is the mark of a man who lowered his gaze long before marriage, a man who controlled his eyes before Allah blessed him with a woman, a man whose heart was disciplined, whose soul was protected, whose intentions were sincere. His face glows not because he is perfect, but because he is obedient, not because he is charming, but because he is pure, not because he is attractive, but because Allah placed his light upon him. This nur cannot be bought, cannot be faked, cannot be imitated. It is a light that lives inside the man and radiates from his presence. And the most beautiful part is this: a woman does not fall in love with his face. She falls in love with his light, because the light of a disciplined, God-fearing man is more attractive than any physical beauty the world can offer. It is the kind of beauty that lasts, that protects, that guides, that comforts, that strengthens a marriage. Because when a man carries nur, his wife feels it, his children inherit it, his home shines with it. And this all began with a simple decision to lower his gaze for the sake of Allah. Lust is loud, lust is fast, lust burns bright and dies quickly, but love that grows from purity, love that grows from discipline, love that grows from a heart protected by Allah, is a different kind of love. It is a love that does not fade, does not shake, does not break. It is a love that lasts beyond this dunya. A man who lowers his gaze does not love from impulse. He loves from intention. He does not love from desire. He loves from sincerity. He does not love from temptation. He loves from taqwa. His love is not built on looks or excitement or beauty that will eventually fade. His love is built on something eternal, something spiritual, something soul deep. He loves the woman not just because of how she looks today, but because of who she is in the sight of Allah, who she is as a believer, who she is as a soul, who she is as a woman of character, dignity, and fear of Allah. And when he chooses her with a loyalty trained long before she entered his life, a loyalty built in the dark, when he lowered his gaze, for months, for years, protecting his heart, preserving his purity, training his soul. When he holds her hand in marriage, he does not hold it with desire. He holds it with responsibility, with sincerity, with purpose. His love becomes ibadah. His marriage becomes worship. His loyalty becomes obedience. When he looks at her, he does not see her as one image among thousands. He sees her as the only woman Allah wrote for him, the only woman he protected his eyes for, the only woman he saved his heart for. And because his love is not built on looks, it does not crumble when looks fade. It does not weaken with age. It does not disappear with time. Instead, his love matures, deepens, strengthens. The woman he marries will never fear being compared, never fear being replaced, never fear being betrayed, because he trained himself long before she ever arrived. This is why Allah blesses his marriage, fills their home with peace, fills their hearts with tranquility, fills their relationship with sukoon because the foundation of their love was obedience, not sin, discipline, not desire, purity, not impulse. And this makes their relationship different, sacred, protected. When life becomes hard, their love becomes softer. When the world becomes loud, their marriage becomes peaceful. When everything around them changes, their connection remains steady because it was never built on the eyes, it was built on the heart. A heart, Allah, purified. This man's love does not end with this world. It continues into the next, because the one who loves with taqwa loves with a love that angels record, a love Allah rewards, a love that hopes to reunite in Jannah, where beauty never fades, where love never dies, where hearts never separate. A man who lowers his gaze is not just loving for dunya, he is loving for akhirah. He is loving for the day when he will take his wife's hand and walk into paradise, where Allah will say, "This is the reward of the purity you protected and the loyalty you practiced. This is the highest form of love, the kind of love that begins in this world, but continues forever in the next." And all of it started with a single quiet decision to lower the gaze for the sake of Allah. And now, as we reach the end of this reminder, I want you to sit with one truth, a truth most people never understand, a truth that can change the way you love forever. A man is not defined by how much he sees, but by what he refuses to look at. He is not defined by how loudly he speaks, but by how quietly he protects. He is not defined by how many women admire him, but by how he honors the woman Allah will one day give him. Lowering the gaze is not a small action. It is a lifelong commitment, a silent promise between a man and his Lord, a shield around his heart, a protection for his soul, a preparation for his future wife. Every time he looks away from haram, he is not losing pleasure. He is gaining purity. He is not becoming weaker. He is becoming stronger. He is not missing out. He is being elevated. Allah sees every second of that struggle, every temptation he turns away from, every moment he protects his heart, every silent battle he fights. And Allah does not let that sacrifice go unrewarded. He is shaping him, cleaning him, preparing him for a love that is real, a love that is loyal, a love that is sincere, a love that is for his sake. And one day, when Allah finally brings the woman written for him, he will love her with a heart that has never been scattered, never been polluted, never been weakened by comparison, never been lost in the world's illusions. He will love her with a heart that he guarded for years, a heart he protected from every temptation, a heart that remained loyal long before he even knew her name. And she will feel that love. She will feel the purity in it, the strength in it, the steadiness in it, the sincerity in it, because a man who lowers his gaze does not love with desire. He loves with discipline. He loves with intention. He loves with honor. He loves with Allah in his heart. So to every man listening, know this: every time you lower your gaze, you are becoming the kind of man your wife will thank Allah for, the kind of husband your future children will look up to, the kind of believer the angels are proud of, the kind of soul Allah elevates. And to every woman listening, remember, a man who guards his gaze, guards his loyalty, guards his marriage, guards your heart. May Allah make you among those whose love is pure, whose intentions are clean, whose gaze is protected, whose marriage becomes a path to Jannah, and whose loyalty is written not by the eyes, but by the soul. Ameen.